Hey, yes, welcome to the festivities. It is a Saturday, and I have just cracked open this giant can of an unnamed beverage that, until they give me a sponsorship or some delightful company finds me and says, we want to sponsor that dude. We want to sponsor that most righteous dude. What's happening, everybody? It's Badbrad. We're talking music. We're talking guitars. We're talking truth, right? Real deal music business talk, guitar talk, bands. I'm gonna serve it to you straight with a heaping pile of truth. That's what I'm trying to say right here tonight. All right. So how's everybody doing out there? Who we got in the house? Who do we have here? I'm gonna take a little sip. Johnny B. Is that Johnny B. Good? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are glad to have you here at Badbrad Productions. I am the editor. I am the on-air talent. I am the writer of all these stories. Chris, what's happening, brother? How you doing, everybody? We get 9 in the room. Let's get the thumbs up. We're having a good time. So, funny day to start to the day. All right, so we're in Florida. And today we decide we're going to go to the pool. Now, we've got this extremely large pool at the, let's say, subdivision that we live in Florida. And in fact, it's many acres. This pool is many acres. And we get there, this morning, and it's usually, and this is open to, how's it going, David? What's happening? This pool is open to the public, but they have to pay to get in, right? So we get in line, in the residence line, and we get to get in a little bit earlier because we residents. Thank you, Johnny. I'll try to get to that in a little bit. Oh yeah, I'll tell you some stuff about Gazaris in a minute. So we're waiting in line to get in the pool, and we notice there's no one to let us in, right? And it's like the ticket window is closed. And then we walk up and goes, they found a gator in the pool, and we can't swim until they get him out. And it's like, and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, this could either thank you, CC, thank you. This could either go really quickly or it could take them a long time. Now, it was just a little 4-foot alligator. But yes, it's been an alligator in the pool morning here. Thank you so much. We are celebrating with this channel 5,000 subs. Now, I know this is still just a baby channel. And but man, we've got the coolest people in this room. Everybody that's in here is super cool in my book. And it's like the decision for me to take a channel that was 14 some years old and just decide, you know what, I'm gonna get on this horse and I'm gonna ride it, and I'm gonna ride it, and I'm gonna ride it. And all my friends, I was talking to my friend John Billings about this channel, and I was telling him, he said, dude, when I get on something, I get on it, and it'd be like me sitting back in the days practicing sweep picking or something. I'd just be all day, right? So here we are. All right, somebody just asked, it was Johnny B. Good, who I have not seen in this channel before. Ben, thank you. Sug Mok2, I appreciate all your videos. The rock and the stories is amazing to hear about all the things you have gone through. Now, I will say the one thing that separates this channel from any other channel, any other guitar channel, and there are some great ones, and there, thank you, CC. Keep them coming. We will keep them going and go back. Yeah. Thank you. Be happy. Thank you from Frankfurt. That is amazing. That is amazing. It's just amazing to me that we get so many people from all over the US and Europe and UK and New Zealand and Aussies. Now, I think the Aussies might be sleeping right now, so I don't know if we're going to get any of them right now, but maybe they'll tune into this a little bit later. Yeah, so hello from Nashville. Sugar Britches, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Mr. Man, Foo Man, I'm confident nobody here. Nashville is muggy, yes. Ever die cave diving? Okay, that's true. Yeah, Nashville is extremely humid and there's no water and there's no afternoon rain showers like we have here in Florida. So I'm kind of liking this. Get up and go to the pool. Yeah, Nashville is muggy, dude. This is the time of year. It's the time of year in Nashville where you basically just you try to stay inside and you hope that your gigs are all indoors. Jimmy James, thank you so much, Jimmy James. I'm gonna give a shout out to Jimmy. He took a chance on me way before anybody else and became a member to this channel when I barely even, and I still don't really know what I'm doing with this channel, as far as, members and then, the t-shirts that you see in the description. Now you can get a channel specific t-shirt that are only available here. Show was so good last night, and Vince Gill was the special guest. They sent me right up front. That is awesome, CC. That is so. So last night, I guess in Nashville was the big album release party for Guthrie Trapp and Tom Bukovac. Man, I'm so happy for those guys. Of course. So I'm trying to keep up with everybody's comments, and that's not easy. And we had somebody ask about Gazaris. And I'll tell this is funny. So people want to know about the Sunset Strip days, and like I was saying before, the thing that separates this channel from all the other guitar channels or music channels or whatever is I have had the most diverse career in the music business probably than anybody. I mean, and I thought about it when I was out playing, arenas opening for bro country acts and kind of playing in a bro country act. I was thinking, like, man, I was playing hair metal like 25 years before this. And then thinking, and I was in a funk band and I was in a blues band and I was, all these different things that I've done. And to think that I stuck with it that long to be 40 something and in a big arena just going, so that's the difference between this channel. And I didn't just start a YouTube channel and just start, doing my thing. I was too busy out playing, and every now and then I'd get some footage from a gig and I'd post it on here, but I never really took it serious until now. And this is why it's, for me, 5,000 is a huge accomplishment. But I know we are on our way to 10K. Before you know it, I'm putting out 2 videos a day. But I'm also a shout out to Jimmy James, because he was the first member of my channel when I don't even think I had any member videos at the time. And then I started realizing, I can put all these videos that I'm producing, I can put them in my members section. And then people that have become members get to see them, before everybody else. And, some of the videos, some of them don't get released to the public. I'm going to have to do more of those. I'm going to have to get down into the nitty gritty of, some of the wild stuff I'm a video release machine. Damn, bro, sorry to hear this. I love my dog, man. Kazari should have been charged for this. Oh, I don't know what they were talking about. I missed the text thread about Kazari's. Yes, Jimmy James is the first. And thank you so much, Jimmy, for taking a chance on me. But Dad got a settlement and bought a motorcycle. Okay, I missed something in the conversation, but thank you to Jimmy James. Thank you so much for your initial support. You are doing the hard work and it's paying off. You should be proud. 100,000, yeah. I don't want to stop ever. I don't want to. The only thing that's going to stop me is if I'm physically unable to do it. And I feel like I can keep this pace going. I can keep this pace going because I'm focused now. I'm not trying to sleep off a hangover. And and this is where my passion is now, is knowledge, sharing knowledge, having fun, off the cuff talk, real talk about the real stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Like, I'm sure those guys had a good time at this big show, the other night. Tom Bukovac and Guthrie Trapp. I mean, it's pretty hard to beat that combination, right? So I salute those guys. I salute everybody back in Nashville, but it is hot and muggy here, and I got a really large pool to chill at. So I'm kind of digging this. I'm kind of digging this. Where I grew up in the sticks in South, somebody would burn his house down. And okay, thanks for the shout. And I'm trying, Jimmy. Thank you so, man. Once again, thank you to Jimmy, man, because I know Jimmy's a big aficionado of the SG. And I was going through a huge SG phase where that was like, dude, if I'm at 1 million subscribers in 2 years, man, I will just, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, here's the thing. Do you guys think that I need to invest in a fancy studio and use mics and do this? Because I really like just the fact that my videos are so raw, dude. You can hear the echo bouncing off the wall. It's usually 5 a.m. X5, oh my God. Thank you so much. Did you hear that new track from Oliver Klaushoff? Okay, I'm gonna have to hear Oliver Klaushoff. Has anybody heard that? X5, thank you so much. I salute you. I'm gonna have a Red Bull in your honor, and I'm gonna have to check out Oliver Klaushoff. Okay, I need to hear it. And man, if you guys haven't seen it, check out the X5 podcast with Corey Feldman. I watched it the other day. It's awesome. And they got what no other interviewer was able to get out of Corey. They got him basically saying that he's trolling. You'll have to watch it. You'll have to watch. Thank you, BJ. You'll have to watch it. Trust me. Let me tell you something, dude. And the thing that's great about X5 is they got all those killer guys on their podcast, right? Every single one of those guys could probably just do a podcast by themselves, but you've got all this talent in one. And I got to give it to Corey Feldman. Thank you, Be Happy. Thank you so much. Shaq no longer being with us, one of my all-time favorite singers. Yes. So, and once again, thank you, X5. Go check out the Corey Feldman interview. Now, I'm having a particularly bad hair day because I literally just got out of the shower, and it's, I'm gonna all the guys that the wig trolls get, they're gonna have a field day with this, right? Man, Jack Russell from Great White. I am gonna speak on this because this is important, and I didn't touch on that. Look, before that, Greg Kinn, and those kind of guys. Now, to me, Jack Russell was way more in my radar, being in LA and all that. But I can remember listening to Greg Kinn and seeing him on MTV back in the early days, right? And they don't write them like that anymore. And I had a buddy, my buddy Eric Blue, he sent me a text message and he just said, they don't write them like that anymore. And I said, they sure don't, And Jack Russell, man, the Great White thing, with the what's the group they covered with One Spit and Twice Shy? Was that what was the group? Was that Ian? I forget who originally did that song. Don't get a Howard Stern looking set, man. Keep it natural. I agree with you, man. I think we should just keep it raw. I got my pictures on the wall, and every now and then I'll go film in the garage. And I don't want to go high tech. I know how to do a little bit of editing, and I know how to record, and I know how to, do audio with a mic. But I like just keeping it real. So please don't tell me Robbie Krieger. Please don't tell me Robbie Krieger died. Um, yeah, Jack Russell and Great White. And dude, I gotta say, when that video came out, and there's Bobby Brown in there, and the three or four other ladies in that video. I mean, for me, that made that video. I mean, it's look, dude, you could be a kid, and I wasn't a kid when that came out. I think I was already out in LA, and we were already, trying to get a record deal and playing gigs and all that. But you see that video, and dude, if you're a teenage boy or you have the brain of a teenage boy, you can't help but say, I want to be those guys. I mean, there's the hot girls, the cars, they got their motorcycles and cool guitars. I mean, that's what I miss. Love the Angle song. I'm not familiar with the Angle song, but yeah. So that is my salute to Jack Russell. Amazing singer, man. Cannot think of Russell and not the Hell's Gate. Yeah, that is a very tragic thing that I don't believe Jack would have had any knowledge of or know that those issues, happened. And that's, look, you can see the Spinal Tap thing where they say, it's not your job to be as confused as Nigel. But, when you're the lead singer, and I've heard Michael Starr say this on X5, said, your job is to just chill and rest your voice and, and let the tour managers and all that stuff handle all that stuff. So you got to take a look at who was the tour manager and the club, and did they get their, wires crossed, or did they not do everything that needed to be done to prevent that tragedy? But I can't blame Jack. I'm sure he was just, that's got to be like the worst night of your life. Robbie Krieger, the guitar player for the Doors, passed. Did he really? Please, somebody confirm that for me, because that I did not hear that. Now, please, somebody tell me that's not true, because I love the Doors, man. I love the Doors. He did? Are you sure, Johnny? You're sure? I gotta take a deep pull. He passed away. Man, are you sure? Can somebody else just back up Johnny? Just Google it real quick on your phone. Yesterday. Man, I am so sad to hear that. The Doors, man. So I went through a period out in LA when that Doors movie came out. It was still like the 90s or, wow, man, I'm so sad to hear that, man. And talk about a master of the SG, and had his own style, man. Now you listen to it and young kids aren't going to get it. Man, he created his own thing, man. Man, I can't believe I didn't see. How did I not see that? There was a period where I was, playing the Sunset Strip, and I was writing a lot of the songs that Densmore is still with us. Yeah, Densmore is still with us. He is. He's the last one. Man, when that Doors movie came out, yeah, see, I'm not sure that he did. I would have thought I would have heard that. That's one of those guys that and he's still, I've seen some clips of him playing not too long ago. I mean, he's older and, but he was still doing his thing. Okay. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure that was a thing. And man, I've just about plowed through half of this giant, Greg Kinn did die. And we talked about that. Just check Google, unable to confirm. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Man, that was about to send me down a death spiral. let's not let's not do that, man. I'm not ready. But man, I was gonna tell the tale of Dobie looks like he died years ago, but he's still alive. Okay. I don't know who you're talking about there, but man, the Doors, bro. They haven't transcended to the last generation. Yeah, and the Doors are, I think their music and what the producer was kind of saying is, the Doors, music, it does sound a little bit lounge-like, now that you're listening to it with modern ears. But the sound of Morrison's voice and the eerie lyrics he wrote, and this the end getting played at the beginning of the Apocalypse Now. I mean, dude, that you'd put that on. I'd be on the tour bus watching that. Back in the day when the Doors movie came out, I kind of had my Jim Morrison kind of perm, and I would kind of walk sideways down the strip, and I had a couple times where girls, when that movie came out, and girls would call me Jim, and I played it up. I did the whole kind of semi inebriated poetry mumbling, drifting into, I want to drift into your arms, darling, and rise with the sunset. I would just do stuff like that, and oh my God, And so, yeah, the Doors, man, I really related to Jim Morrison. I really related to him a lot, man. He's a kid from Virginia, and down in Florida, and then out to California. So he's kind of had a similar path, except I'm now in Florida. But man, yeah, thankful that Robbie. Thank you everybody for confirming that. Now we are at 5,000 subs. If you tuned into this channel right now, I want everybody to subscribe. I want you to hit those like buttons because we're gonna have some fun. We got some Red Bull. Thank you, JTB. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I salute you, sir. I am glad to have you here. X5 is in the house. My first member, Jimmy James, is here. Great channel. Thanks, bro. Thank you for a while. I couldn't picture Jim without. Okay, Mr. Badbrad rising. Got to keep on rising. I got the baritone, see? Now, that is the thing, right? That was, yeah, I thought it was a great movie, man. I know that, the keyboard player, I can't think of everybody's name when you get older, but he didn't like the movie because it only portrayed Jim in his Jimbo, right? Jim had several different personalities, and Jimbo was the drunk. Jimbo was the guy that everybody partied with and did lewd things and was out of control. And that's kind of more of what you saw in that movie was Jimbo. And I think they wanted to maybe paint a little more rosier picture. But, let's face it, everybody wants to see Jimbo, right? The Dead Kennedys did a killer cover of The End. I have not heard that. I have not heard that. I'll have to check that out. All right, we are rocking and rolling. We got 45 in here. Hey, man, I love it. I love it. I love it. We are rocking and rolling and rising and shining, if you know what I'm saying. Nothing on Google, on Krieger. Yeah, it didn't happen, man. I would have heard that, dude. That would have made me step back. And I don't always comment on every news morsel that comes out. Like I wanted to talk about Greg Kihn, and I wanted to talk about Jack Russell in separate little episodes. But man, I'm popping out videos. I'm doing 2 videos a day, and then sometimes putting the third one out. I'm looking at my numbers. The reason why you're seeing, the quick activity and me putting out so much content is because I am treating this like a full-time job. I am I've still got the family, which every 5 minutes is pulling me away. So when I'm having to demo something or I'm having to actually play something, I very rarely get more than 1 or 2 takes before I hear my name being yelled and a panic screaming situation, and I have to run off and go and save the day and kill the spider, or fix this, get the TV to work, or my video game does. It's just a constant thing. So, it's like I'll shoot demos and I'm just like, well, I know I could do that better, but I don't have time to do it better. So I just do the best I can with the time I have, but all day long. I'm so glad to hear that, Bradley, and I've been called Bradley quite a few times in my life, if you can imagine, sir. How's everybody doing out there? We're having a good time. Is any topics you want to touch upon today? We're at 5K subs. We're on our way to 10K. I might have to do a giveaway or something, man. Maybe at 100K, maybe I'll like put a really nice package of a guitar and whatever, kind of thank you. Big P is in the house. The Tribes is in the house. Arizona and New Mexico, right? I think I got that. I think you're in Arizona, right? Yeah, the Tribes of Arizona. Yes, sir. Glad to have you here. Oh, man. I needed this so bad. I was at the pool, and I was like, thank you so much, Bradley. Yes, indeed, sir. Yes, indeed. Here are tonight. Look at all the people here tonight. We're so glad to have you here. I might go for a while today because this is the 5K jam, right? Thank you. Yes, I would love to do XM station radio. See, maybe we get X5 to, they'll start booking. Maybe X5 could have a side business and they'll start he'll start hiring us out. And we'll be the new X5 XM satellite radio host, and I will be your late night talking and listening partner as we glide into the evening. I don't even know what people are talking about. Take it easy with that sugar bomb, Brad. Cheers from Brazil. Thank you, sir. I'm going to take it easy for you, sir. Yes, indeed. Hey, before the sugar bomb, it would have been a whiskey bomb, right? It would have been a ice cold beer, man. So, this is probably the better. Got to run for appointment. Cheers. Thank you so much, Jimmy James. Everybody give him a salute. Ride the bull. Black 22 in the house. Yes, and Tim Hardiman in the house. Life of a working musician. Thank you, JDH. That is what we do with this channel. And like I said, the thing that, you hung out with Black Flag. All right. So, the thing with this channel is, dude, I've been through so much, decades of this music business in different towns and seen different stuff. And, I never, ever reached the top of any of them. But man, sometimes there's more freedom just coasting along the middle and staying out. You stay out of those expensive waters, because those expensive waters, you got to pay a heavy toll. And the same thing would be down at the bottom. You don't want to be down at the bottom either. So sometimes I think I've kind of kept myself in a certain spot as my career because I never wanted it to get too out of control. Thank you, Tim. Expensive waters often come with no life raft. Dude, this is true. So Tim Hardiman is a great filmographer and shoots music videos and works for a pretty big time, television channel. And he's saying that, sometimes those big time waters don't come with a life raft. Hey, Brad, hope all's well. Had another outdoor gig last night. Fort Myers, very hot. Yes, I would imagine it would be. Guys, no fighting in this room. It just, let's just have fun. I don't want to have to like get moderators and start booting trolls and stuff. We're better than that. This channel is better than that. So both of you guys just knock it off. That's all I'm going to ask right now. So, yes, indeed. So the heavy, the big time waters. There was a guy in one of the comments on my videos, and he was a fellow Sunset Strip rocker, and he said, "Man, thank God I didn't make it back then, because I'd probably be dead now." And I've thought that as well. When I was young, I didn't really have as much knowledge as I have now to sidestep a lot of the nonsense that happens in this business. And so if I'd have made it, if I'd have been in a band like Warrant or something like that had blown up and been on MTV and all that, man, I don't know how I would have handled all of that. I don't know, and I don't know how I would have handled that. So, I get it, man. Sometimes just kind of keeping an even keel and just a gradual, slow incline, right? But now we are on YouTube and we are 5K on the rise. Yes, indeed. So how's everybody doing out there? I guess there's no more fighting in the room, I hope, and we can all just have a good time. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much to the people who have donated here. I want to make sure I've spoken on anybody recall the Unforgiven, the picture I was referring to with the lady covered in whipped cream. So Rockin' Dave Byron said, I kind of shoot now. Sometimes I shoot in my garage, and that room has a lot of echo to it. But I can talk a little bit louder. And I was, I didn't when I first moved into this room, the room didn't come with a light. Like the house, didn't come with blinds. It didn't come with, lights in some of the rooms, and it came pre-wired for ceiling fan and all that stuff. But I didn't have a light in here. So I would go and film in the garage, and I built, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Have a good day, brother. So I set up a little set in the garage, and I hung a couple, pictures up. And so I've got a picture. It's a famous album cover. What's your favorite movie about music other than Jim Morrison movie? I'll get to that in a second, Bradley. The album cover that's in some of those videos is Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And I can't remember what Whipped Cream and Other Delights. And it's got this beautiful model, dark skin, dark hair, and she's covered in whipped cream, and she's kind of like, got the whipped cream all on, some on her head and all this. And beautiful, beautiful girl. Of course, time is the great equalizer, and I don't even know if she's still around, but man, that album cover is, and Herb Alpert is great. That album cover is so iconic. So somebody asked about movies that I like, and music movies. My dad had that album, thanks. I guess biopics. You're saying, hello, Azure Rabbits. Fire, yes indeed. Howdy all, just got on Lowdown. We're glad to have you here with the 5K celebration. I don't know, the music movies, it's so hard with those biopics for the actor to really capture the essence of the person. And I think Val Kilmer did the best job of any that I've seen in those kind of biopic type movies. There's no Van Halen movie. There's no good Jimi Hendrix film. No one really captured Jimi Hendrix. Ray was good, yeah, with Jamie Foxx. Now, Jamie Foxx, you see, it takes a certain level of actor. Now, I think Austin Butler did a good job with the Elvis movie, but I don't think, it wasn't Elvis. It's like he's doing a great job, and man, I he supposedly had to go to the hospital after he filmed that movie because it was so emotional and it took so much out of him. But looks wise, yeah, Man in Black was pretty good. Yeah, that was good to work on a movie or series score or in any other capacity. Always, Charles, I would always like to work in any different capacity. Absolutely. Look, we need the Queen movie is pretty good. That was good. The Rocket Man one, I think I might have seen that one. I didn't think that was great. I think Val Kilmer was one of the best. Gary Busey was good. The early years, yeah, that is cool. If y'all check out Van Halen, the early years that I worked on about 20 years ago. Yeah, so Tim, I did not know that you worked on that. The band wouldn't license any of the music, but the interviews were good. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why, like, a Hendrix movie was always hindered by the fact that they wouldn't license the songs. So even if they got the world's greatest actor, if they can't use the actual songs and they have to use the cover songs that Jimi Hendrix did, I mean, imagine a Hendrix movie with a great actor and actually hearing Little Wing. Imagine hearing Little Wing in the movie with in theater sound with with that drum fill. I mean, you could really, music like that could really be a poignant moment. And any of those picks, any of those movies suffers when they can't actually use the songs. So, yeah, the Tina Turner one was good. Yeah, that was good as well. I'm glad you guys were able to make peace. Almost Famous was good. There's got to be some others that I can think of, but I don't think, other than Val Kilmer's was the best as far as the acting of the main character and capturing the persona of, Eric Blue, what's happening? You'll be acting and scoring in my film product. I'm down for that, bro. Eric Blue is in the house. If y'all have not heard the Midnight Glow album by Eric Blue, I produced the whole album. We got Keith Carlock on it. We got Victor Wooten. Now that is a killer sounding album. If you like yacht rock, if you like Steely Dan, check that album out. You're gonna love it. What's your favorite genre if you start a band with money not being a factor? If I was gonna start a band with money not being a factor, I would probably do something like what we did with Eric Blue. I would continue on the yacht rock. I would put out, thank you, Lowdown. I would get into the yacht rock fusion kind of thing with killer lyrics, dark lyrics, just like Steely Dan. I would do that to the nth degree. I would hire Keith Carlock for a whole album. I'd figure out who's the hot shot bass player, and I'd hire the best in the world, and we'd go into a real studio, and we'd do a fusion pop, funky album with just incredible playing, and I would just noodle over the whole fucking thing. Just like Walter Becker, right? I would just, and that would make me happy. We're happy to see people making peace. Yeah, Donald Fagen is all genius. Yes, David. Here's the thing, and I haven't talked about this in a video, but our tastes change. Thank you, Neil. All right. Yeah. I guess we'll move on from the yacht rock thing, but he's asking my favorite venue to play in Nashville. Bad Internet Brad. Yes, indeed. What is my favorite? I used to really like Third and Lindsley before it got too big. Now, Third and Lindsley's where the Guthrie Trap and the Tom Bukovac, album release was the other day. But it's a lot bigger than what it was when I used to play there once a week. And it used to just be this little corner stage, and we'd be in there cranking, and the crowd would be kind of jammed in there. And that was a place I used to always have fun playing. And then there was another place called Atlantis, which was in Mercy Lounge is cool. I don't know, did I ever? Yeah, I think I played. Someone's now saying Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd. Well, what do I want to do? You know, if you're asking someone to pick between two bands, between two great bands that both of them are friggin' great, it really comes down to, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to get up and clean the house? Then I'm going to pick Led Zeppelin. I will crank up Dancing Days and I'll crank those up. The drums will be thundering through the house, and I'll be cleaning like a Red Bull addicted fiend around the house, right? Now, if you want me to meld into the couch, then put the Floyd on, bro. Comfortably Numb. I'll just, that's funny that you mentioned that, because Comfortably Numb came on the other day, and my wife goes, "Oh, this is a terrible song," and I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" I go, "This is a song that people love. This is a genius song, But she just doesn't really get, and I know, because my generation, man, when that Pink Floyd stuff came out, The Wall came out, dude, that was pop the cassette into the car and park. We used to park out at Jamestown. We used to call it going to watch the submarine races, right? There's no submarine out there, but you could park right there on the James River and just sit there. And there was like one park ranger, and he chances are he wasn't going to bother you. So you just sit there, and everybody be like this, and Comfortably Numb would be playing. Best guitar solo ever, maybe. Yeah, it is Houses of the Holy, dude. It's like, would you like Ginger or Marianne? Both, both, right? I mean, if it's got to be real, songs like Comfortably Numb made it better living in a tiny do-nothing town. Yeah, it absolutely did. It absolutely did. Great music makes living anywhere great, right? Mary Ann or Mrs. Howell. Well, if Ginger, Ginger or Mary Ann, right? Now, I know people out there, everybody's got their type, right? And I was always wanted Ginger because, my town was full of Mary Ann's, right? So I was looking for the uptown, sparkly dress. I always kind of wanted the Ginger because she was just out of reach, right? The Wall came out. Herb Alpert's Whipped Cream Lady is now 88 years old. Yeah, and you believe that? Dude, I still would look at that album cover and go, she's hot. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you all. All right, you know what? I might have to get me another Red Bull because we're having too much fun. The wife's gone out shopping. And so we're hanging here. We're hanging here having a good time. And I don't plan on getting off anytime soon because you know what? We're 5K and we're on our way. You know what I'm saying? So we're having a good time. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, indeed. Oh, that's delicious. Yeah, when the cat's away, the mice will play. We are the mice. Are we mice or are we men? What did Devo, didn't they have something like, we're not men, we're Devo or something like that? I don't know. Spending all Brad's money, man, she won't be out there for very long if she was spending all my money. It would go very quickly. Not playing gigs down here. That's not as much income coming in, but I am thankful to all you guys here on YouTube because this is my new job, bro. Checking your live feed. Ginger, you need to be splaining maybe. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I don't think she's probably not tuned into but my wife is more of a Ginger than a Mary Ann. So I just say, well, I picked you, didn't I? And I always have the right answers. That's one thing, I always know how to. Well, that's because you're a Ginger, right? So look, we're guys here mostly. I think Cece is still here and Leah is here. Leah Sugar Britches. Now, Leah, are you a singer? Well, good recovery, dude. Dude, I can recover with the best of them. Yes, Eric, you can hear Eric's album, Midnight Glow, on Spotify. Just put Eric Blue. Oh, thank you so much, Be Happy. Do you have a recommendation for an 80s hard rock album from a not so popular band? Okay, if you didn't see my video this morning, check out The Silent Majority by Life, Sex, and Death. Now, it's pretty cool. It's not totally hair metal. It's a band that kind of almost took off there at the tail end of that scene. But if you haven't watched that video this morning, I tell the story of how these guys came down to the Sunset Strip and they concocted a plan and created a thing that got them signed within a couple of months on the Strip when all the rest of us were out there, for months after months, headline this club, do this, do that, and, go through all this nonsense. Those guys came in and did that. Brad, any 80s vices you've since conquered? All of them, Johnny. All of them. I've conquered all of them. I have conquered them all, sir. Sir, the only vice I have left is my caffeine, sir. It's all I have. I left them all behind. They're all gone, sir. They're all gone. And became paranoid, was convinced. Yeah, man. That's, that can happen, right? And live to tell about it. Yes, I have lived to tell about it. So that's why we're here on this channel, and I keep it pretty PG. I think I dropped one F-bomb on this broadcast, and I apologize for that. But the reality is, if you know me personally, I have been known. I had to kind of learn to tone down my language a little bit because I do get a little animated in my storytelling, if you know what I'm saying, here tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed, sir. So we're having fun. I'm almost down this sugar bomb, but you know what? It's the sugar bomb better than a favorite Led Zeppelin album. How do you pick a Led Zeppelin album, man? A little salty is okay. Thank you, JTB. For me, it's more about the songs with Zeppelin. But I'll throw a wild card out there and say In Through the Outdoor. I'll really troll everybody out there and throw that out as my favorite. Why? Because I remember buying that, and then shortly after, thank you, Drummers Against Drummer with Flies on Fire from the old days in L.A. Hold on, let's see. It's Richie the drummer with Flies on Fire. What's happening, brother? Yes, indeed. That's a fellow Sunset Strip alumni out there. I tell you what, there's it's a lot of people from that time period disappeared. That was a time period where, a lot of guys, and we're all older now. It's like there's not many of us that are still kicking, still gigging. I was still gigging up until, a couple months ago. Still playing gigs, if you can imagine that. Playing back in 1988 on the Strip, and then still playing gigs in 2024. It's a lot of time, my friends. Yes, indeed. It's a lot of time. And so, physical graffiti. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's the double album, right? Yeah, that's a good one. Charles Sanders, mine is Happy 5K. Thank you. Let's see. That was Pedro. What's happening, my friend? What's happening? We're having a good time. We're having a little food, learning about Cuba. Aloha, Mr. Hond. Zeppelin 3, excellent album. I think the only one, is it Presence? Was that the Led Zeppelin album? Earl, what's happening? Yeah, I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in a while, bro. Glad to have you here on this channel. We're keeping it lo-fi and we're keeping it high and dry, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, indeed. Ever heard Mato Nanji from the band Indigenous? I have not. What kind of style does he play? French Alps Pedro. It's just amazing that we get all these cool people. Were you into Kiss ever? I was, yes, a little Red Bull on my time, bro. Well, I guess it's our time. So I guess we all gonna share this bent can of Red Bull. So somebody asked if I was ever into Kiss, and I had friends that were big time Kiss fans. My high school buddy Ben Brown, he was a huge Kiss fan. I think he still is, right? And he had Rock and Roll Over, and he had I think Kiss Alive. He had a bunch of those albums, and I would go over to his place, and he would put them on, and we would listen to Kiss, And I liked Ace Frehley the best. I just liked his spaceman thing, and he had the Les Paul and all that. Yeah, once Ace was out of the band, and the only time I saw Kiss was on the reunion tour with Peter Criss and Ace, and they played Nashville. And I got a crazy story about what happened that night and leading up to it and all that. But I digress. I don't know if I'll be able to tell that story on my channel, maybe in the members section, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I was a big Kiss fan. I've seen Maiden. I saw Iron Maiden back in like '84 with Yngwie J. Malmsteen opening. I went with Reggie Wooten to the Hampton Coliseum and saw Maiden and Malmsteen. So I tell you what, I got to get another Red Bull. So the house is a mess. We're still kind of moving and stuff, but I'm gonna head to the fridge. I got my camera. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad, right? Not too shabby, bro. It's gonna go in the fridge, bro. It's a fridge, bro. I'm gonna, dude. It's hot sauce, bro. It's totally hot sauce. It's totally hot sauce, bro. It's hot sauce, bro. You want some hot sauce, bro? Bro, you want hot sauce? All right, let's see what we got. Now we got a Bluey. We got Bluey. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, Lowdown. Thank you. The house is still kind of a mess, bro, and especially my room. My room is a wreck. I don't have enough room really to put everything and keep everything, totes kosher. Give me a uno momentito, por favor. And so we are back. Yes, indeed. Now, everybody smash that like button. I'm going in for number 2. I saw Maiden 3 nights. Saw Maiden. Maiden was great, man. Eddie comes out. I mean, you can't beat That's Entertainment. I used to hang out with Kansas in high school. There were only 4 people in the audience. Wow, that's crazy, Earl. Woo. And I'm gonna have to drink this one slow. That was a 16 ouncer I just drank, and this is the This is a 12 ounce. Gosh, the 16 looks a lot bigger than that. Udo's right. It wasn't Udo's wife. You're talking about Accept? Is that somebody mentioned Accept? It was Wolf Hoffman's wife, Gabby Hoffman, who wrote the lyrics for Balls to the Wall and I guess a lot of Accept's tunes. Now, how do I know all this? How am I an expert in Accept? Because my bizarre career, twists and turns. I was in a rap rock group that got signed in LA. Did you play for artist of the night named Jeff Xander in Nashville? Yes, I did, Eric. Yes, I did. I played in Jeff Xander's band called Thunderheart. So Gabby Hoffman, who was the manager of Accept, and she wrote the lyrics for a lot of those songs, she managed my rap rock group called Rapnex. And so I know those guys really well. I haven't seen Wolf in a long time, but I'm sure if I ran into him, he would call me by my rap name, which I'm not going to repeat here because it's kind of amusing. But I was in a band called Rapnex. And if you want to hear me rap, you can listen to the song called Chillin' Hill Villain. And that was sort of my battle rap. It's got crunchy guitars. I played guitar on it, and there's like a backwards guitar solo, and I'm just doing angry battle rap over the track. Check that out if you want to get a laugh. Chillin' Hill Villain by Rapnex, Rapnexx. So we're back. We've been to the kitchen. You've seen the home, and now we're having a little more Red Bull. So somebody asked about the Jeff Xander. Does that guy know Jeff Xander? Is Jeff watching this channel? We're 58 people in. Let's get that like button up. Let's get that subscription thing. Love Removal Machine by The Cult. I love The Cult. Now, talk about singing styles. I always thought that the singer for The Cult definitely had the Jim Morrison vibe in his vocal. And that's why when he later became the singer for the Doors of the 21st century, I thought he was a really good choice. He did a pretty good job, but nobody can beat Jim Morrison, right? Hit the like. Yes, indeed. Robert, thank you so much, sir. Yes, indeed. We're having a good time. We're 57 minutes in, but I don't have any plans to get off the air. The wife is out. Asbury wore pants too tight. Now, I read some stuff. I guess the Cult and Guns N' Roses toured together. And I think Ian Asbury was having some issues with his weight. Look, when you're in this business, and I'm a guy right now, and I got my beer gut that I've created over several decades. And man, when I was out on the road, the eating and the drinking, man, it didn't do me any favors. So I was huge. I was huge back then. But wife walks in. All right, bye, Meyer. But you'll be going keto any day now, possibly. I need to just not eat, right? Maybe fast. Be careful with that Red Bull. Check your blood pressure. You may be shocked. Yeah, I'm sure I would be shocked. But Earl, it's a lot better than what I used to do back in the day. Yes, indeed. Just trying to keep it rolling, rocking and rolling. Yeah, Mike Reno is, and look, dude, and that band was, they had some great songs. Loverboy had some great songs. I mean, I got huge because I was just drinking beer and, drinking beer, just out the thing, and eating the after show pizza, and then drinking more beer and having more after show pizza. And you're doing that night after night, man. It's tough, dude. And if you know how it is, if you like getting up and working out, the most important thing you can do each night is get a good night's sleep. Because otherwise, if you wake up tired, you're just going to not feel like going to that gym, man. So it's tough to maintain that. I mean, look at Tim McGraw's in food is a problem. Red Bull, an absolute. Maybe if I cheap. Yeah, I can't do it, Robert. I can't do any of that. Things that I didn't do, I still can't do no more. If you know what I'm saying. Just a little sip, small sips. Like David Lee Roth used to say, whiskey. It's best drinking in sips. The thin dude from Rat. Dude broke 300 pounds at one. No, that was, Warren did not do that. That was Robin Crosby who did that. Been there too. No more, no more marching of any kind. I'm too old to march, bro. I don't need that. All I need is a little caffeine. Just a little Actually, my favorite, what I should have grabbed is my gallon jug of Milo's unsweet tea. That is my fuel. If somebody said, I need you to start writing an album tomorrow, I need 10 songs in 2 weeks, I'd be like, okay, go to the store, get 12 gallons of Milo's unsweet tea, and put me in that room and leave me alone. And I'll come out with something. People are talking about Ozempic. I don't, man, I try to stay away from it. Try to stay, apple a day keeps the doctor away. Rockstar, look, Leslie West, man, or the Blues Traveler guy and all that, man. It's just tough to stay in shape. Rhino Bucket. Suggest you do another shout out about Rhino Bucket. The only thing I know about Rhino Bucket is Carl Palmer was staying at the hotel I worked at in Hollywood way back in the day. And he told me, one day he came over and started talking to me, and I said, yeah, well, I got a band. He goes, oh, you're in a band? I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, I'm going to go see my mate, tonight in Rhino Bucket. I think they're playing at the Troubadour, mate. And I was like, oh, that should be a good show. So he was friends with the drummer of that band. And man, what a legend. Yeah, Warren DeMartini, all-time great. I would put DeMartini and George Lynch kind of in the same stylistic box. I think I prefer George Lynch. George Lynch is still out there playing his butt off, right? Like, I've seen some clips of him, and he's playing with like some 20 and 30-year-old, hair metal kind of bands, but it's old George jamming with them, and man, it's so friggin' awesome, because that style of playing, George can sweep and all that, but he doesn't play as many notes as he used to play. He's playing with his old hands now, but he adjusts. And the thing I like about, Azure, thank you. Sound like Digital Underground. You have been big in 1990. Yeah, well, hey, that's when we got signed. That band was signed. Hello, Dana. That band was signed in 1990 by Beyond Records, which was the same label that Motley Crue was on at the time. And the only thing that held us back was the label just ran out of money and went belly up shortly after we got our deal. And, those kind of things happen in this business. But yeah, I think Rap Next could have been a huge thing. Adrian Belews band, they had them over to the house for coffee. Great memory. Hit the like. It's the Badbrad party. Right now, it's the Badbrad party. Yes, indeed, we are rocking and rolling. Yes, indeed. That's what I'm trying to say. Did you ever meet someone who you think sold their soul? Woo, Charles. Have I ever met somebody who I think sold their soul? I think that me personally, I stayed in that little comfortable middle place where I didn't get high enough to have to deal with any soul sellers. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's some that I had to kind of question and think maybe, but like I said, I never got that high up. They did not sell their soul. They just practiced their asses off. Well, we're not talking about playing, because you could be a huge star and can't play your way out of a paper bag. John Sykes made Whitesnake relevant, yes or no? He wrote some of their biggest songs. Why is it hard to find hardtail Fender Strats? Hardtail Fender Strats, it is pretty hard. But they've got the new Antigua one, Vintera 2. That looks really cool, comes with a case. Hit my Sweetwater link in description on any of my videos and buy that hardtail Strat for yourself there, son. Buy it for yourself. Buy it for your future children. Pass it down to them like a golden chalice and bestow it upon them so they may cast demons out across the world, my friend. Cast them out into the world. Make my big toe shoot up in my boot. Yes, indeed. Pass it down to the children. Yes, indeed, sir. Hardtails for everyone. In my world, there will be hardtails for everyone, my friend. Have you ever checked out Sire? Great quality, low cost. How can you play music without a soul? Well, there's some people that have less soul in their playing than others. Some people are just playing by the numbers, and some people are pouring out their soul. There's a big difference. Pastor Brad hardtail preaching on a Saturday. Yes, indeed. The Lord gave me this day off, but I will still stand here and cast the demons out. I will cast that demon out of your soul, sir. Yes, indeed. We're old school Baptist preaching for you here today. Yes, indeed. We're having a good talk. I got a hardtail Strat. It's like hard-headed woman. Got a hardtail Strat. You know, better be calling tuning problems since burning in. Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. Hardtail Strat. Now, I have never owned a hardtail Strat, but from what I understand, they are amazing and they stay in tune. And man, I'd like to have one. I'd like to have one of those Antigua Sweetwater Vintera 2 Strats. Corey Feldman plays with soul and is the highest guitar player on tour right now. Hey, John. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. Let's celebrate it. Let's see, how do we celebrate it? Okay, we're celebrating it. We're going to hit like, and that is awesome. Thank you, Dana. Your most favorite gig. My most favorite gig that I ever did. They tore down Omni Studios here last month. I know, Eric. I know. I did a whole video on that. My favorite gig, it had to be playing on the Strip. And then many decades later, playing the House of Blues on the Strip with my long hair and my black beard and having two JCM 800s cranked on stage. The guitar and lyrics on Chillin' Hill Villain is awesome. The lyrics are better than maybe any rap song I've heard. Thank you. Thank you. Dude, that's one of my best raps. That Chillin' Hill Villain, and that's my battle rap. That was me basically saying I'm better than all the other rappers that were out at the time. I was right there at the time of Eminem and Kid Rock and all that. Is when we cooked up that Rap Next thing, and that's a situation where I'm probably lucky that did not take off, because the character, me having to live and be that guy in those raps, in that rap song, and kind of creating that character, which is a lot like creating Stanley or putting on the cape, as I've said in this channel. That would be tough to live up to every night. It'd be tough to be that guy every night. The booze swilling, hell-raising, redneck rapping, guy. That would be tough to live up to every night. We've got people chipping in so much. Thank you so much, everybody. We're just having a good time. Nashville Telecaster is like, yes, yes, that. Hey, thank you, Pedro. You don't have to donate, but we much appreciate it to all the people that have. And thank you so much, everybody. This has been an awesome celebration and an awesome day, man. We're enjoying the 5K. We're having a good time. We're talking about music. We're fast and furious. I hope that people are able to see the chat. If they watch this, if you are not gigging like you once did, besides YouTube, doing to bring in the bacon. Well, Charles, what I did, sir, is set myself up and give myself a little bit of time to get things rocking and rolling. So one of the videos on my site is talking about an amp I found in a pawn shop. And I found an amp that had belonged to B.B. King and had it for a long time. And, I knew I was going to be here and not, making money for a little while. So I sold that. And I've got another amp right now. If you go on, now I'm going to go get a bottle of water because I can't just pound Red Bull for, 2 hours. But I got another amp that is on Carter Vintage guitars. If anybody wants one of my Rode amps, it is a super reverb. And if you look, it's a black face like a 1968. And it's up at Carter Vintage Guitars. And it comes with a road case, and the road case has all of my stickers on it from all my road gigs. It's got my name on the case, just in stickers, because that's what I didn't want to get a stencil and spray paint it. So it's got all these road stickers on it, and it's got my name in like mismatched letters, and it comes with the road case. And it's a killer sounding amp that I got from a builder that's not really, doesn't build amps anymore. But it was this guy named Bluetron. Does it come with your social security number? No, it does not. But it does have my DNA. So you can clone me. You can clone me if you need to. So, if you need a guitar player to play your gigs and do all that, you can buy my amp and then just, get the DNA off the amp. But that amp, I did used it on some Colt Ford recordings. One song I did on a Colt Ford album with Darius Rucker singing. I forget the name of the song, but it's Colt Ford, Darius Rucker, probably the only thing up there. I played the guitar solo on that song through that amp. And that is available at Carter Vintage. I think we've got it at $2,500, which for a hand-wired 1968 super reverb with a road case and provenance of road and studio work, that's a pretty good deal for that amp. So if anybody's looking for an amp like that, that's got some history to it, and it's a super cool sounding amp with a road case, and you could take it on your own adventures. So I socked away a little bit of money so that I could really focus on this YouTube. And now I keep an eye on my numbers. Why do you think I'm putting out 2 videos a day, sometimes 3? Thank you, Robert. Those 3 subs can't be wrong. Old jazz joke. Yes, indeed. I thank you, everybody, for checking out that song. That is, the funny thing about this is people, thank you, Slow Down. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you. Appreciate you, content, openness of your past, the present, future. Yeah, I got to see. 3 gigs this weekend. Number 2, got paid for my bass parts on 6 original fingers. Oh, thank you so much, Lowdown. Man, that is incredible, dude. I mean, that is amazing. Thank you, Lowdown. Now, that Lowdown is a guy who's, man, he is in the thick of it. He's doing sessions. He's playing gigs. Man, you are the man. Thank you so much, because this is my gig now. And I tell you what, dude, I work drinks for everybody, man. I put more time into this. Even the fact that I keep the videos lo-fi and I'm not like doing crazy editing, it still takes a lot of time to shoot the content, come over, do it, do all the descriptions, do the thumbnails, all of that stuff. It takes a lot of time. And I'm like, why do you think if you put a comment on my videos, and you'll notice almost always I'll always reply, and I try to do it pretty quickly. And and the reason why is because I'm usually right here editing. I'm usually right here editing and I'm literally monitoring, and I see the little thing come up. Oh, there's a comment, and I go. Psh, psh. So I'm sitting at my computer, 7 are always at the ready. Yes, and if an idea came in, so I did a video the other day. My wife comes in and starts telling me about this call into the Dave Ramsey show, and this kid is spending $70,000 a year to get a scholarship to learn to play tuba. And it just set me off. I immediately got so fired up. I was like, get out of the room. I got to shoot this now. I got to shoot this now. We have to enjoy you while you can still keep up with us. Soon you'll be like the big guys, not having time for us. Azur, I hope that I don't get to that point. And I try, and then I try to, if, I respond to a comment, I try to even respond to the response. Dana, thank you so much. You are just blessing me today. And Dana, I know, you're a good soul. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're having a friggin' blast today. I'm not even watching the clock. I've switched over to water because, you guys want to keep me around here a little bit longer. So we don't want to burn out. Is it better to burn out and fade away, or is it just we ride off into the sunset down here at the pawn? Mike, you're at the pawn shop. Dude, so I worked in the pawn shop, dude. I got pawn shop stories for days as celebrities coming in the pawn shop. Dana, thank you so much. We'll blow up, and he'll only be able to respond to a few folks. I'm hoping that I can keep responding. But if it ever gets to a point where the comments are just shh, 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 it could get overwhelming. It could be, it could get to a point. Definitely late, but congrats on the subs. Thank you, San Diego. Thank you so much. I try to keep, like I said, and look, if you'll notice sometimes I'll shut down. The house shuts down here around 10 p.m. And I'll wake up at 5 a.m. to start shooting content, right? Because I'll go, that's 7 hours. That's, for a man my age, that's a good amount of sleep. So I'll wake up at 5 and I'll start replying to the comments that I missed while I was sleeping. And back when I first put out the Broke on the Road video, that was the one that finally broke 100K. And when that video hit, I will wake up in the middle of the night and look, and it would hit 800 every hour. It was getting 800 views. And I'm like, dude, I'm sleeping. And it's 3 a.m. and there's 800 people watching this video this hour. It was just crazy. So I am psyched to see where this all heads, because this look, man, I have paid a lot of dues in this business, and this has not been easy. Getting these subs and doing all this. Thank you, Charles. This internet thing is a fad, man. Screaming for vengeance or number of the beast. I probably have to say Number of the Beast, because Iron Maiden is just such an incredible band. And I like the drummer that played on Run to the Hills. I know he was ousted from that band, and I know Nico McBrain is a great Nico McBrain is a great drummer. But man, that kid that goes plays Clive Burr. Now, dude, when I saw that video, the British, metal on MTV, it seemed like it was something from another planet, because MTV was kind of Duran Duran and some different stuff, Kaja Gugu and all this, and then all of a sudden these dudes come out and it's almost a throwback, because it's just full on spandex, tank tops, the bass player doing the galloping, Steve Harris, right? And Clive Burr playing on that, dude, it's just incredible. Love to see a Rush rendition with Terry Bozzio. Yeah, yes, indeed. So that's why I pick Iron Maiden, just because the galloping bass line alone. Now, I think Judas Priest has catchier songs for an American audience. I think they appeal more American sounding to me. But no Rush. Yeah, that's true. I think Rush is done. I don't think they're gonna get a Mike Portnoy or whatever and be able to continue. It's time to pass the wisdom. It is time to put down the guitar, sir, and pass the baton to the younger generation. But make sure you pass the wisdom. Yes, indeed, sir. That's what we're doing. We're passing the baton. Just like I had the revelation walking down 2nd Avenue in Nashville, and I just finished playing 3 sets at BB King's. And I'm pulling 2 guitars. I got 2 guitars on my shoulder, and I'm pulling my amp and my pedal board on pulling them down the street, up a hill. And I'm like, oh man, this is hard. And I'm hearing off in the background, I'm hearing another band. And they're just starting up for the night, and they're blasting out the same songs that we were just playing. They're playing them, and I thought to myself, I said, well, when I'm done playing this and doing this, it's gonna keep on keeping on, brother. It's gonna keep on. You know what I'm saying? Well, they had people had said that Clive Burr had left because of the drinking, using that as an excuse. Now, he may have been deeper in his cups than the rest of the guys, but he claims that that was overblown. So I don't know. I wasn't there. Hey, be safe, my man. Food poisoning is not good. So, brother, take it easy. Later, my man. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. So this is the longest edition, and you know what? We're going to keep on rocking and rolling. We got 62 in here. I want to see those likes go up. I want the subscribes to go up. We're on our way to 10K. We're on our way to 10K. Worldwide audience, and you have full control. At 80, you can work in a museum as an century rocker. Yeah, I'll be the tour guide, right? I'll be the old guy in the cap. Well, over here to the left is a whiskey and go-go. I used to play there back in 1985, but now it's just a museum of rock. And on the right, we have the Roxy. Yes, that is the Roxy. Yes, indeed. All right, it's time to switch back to a little flavored water. How many guitars do you own? Charles, I kind of stopped counting at 30. I think it's close to maybe a little over 30. Nobody believes you ever did anything. Okay, that is very true, Azur. People people tend to not believe that you've done all this stuff, and it's hard to imagine your younger self. People will look at you now and think, "Oh, this guy, he didn't do nothing," and the reality is, we know we did. And the beauty of the internet and the beauty of me having and saving some scraps, like, check this out. Here is a tour itinerary for Eric Church, the Canadian tour. This old, 80s rocker, right? Now let's see what else we got over here. Here, when you unpack and you discover things, here is an old flyer for my band headlining the Whiskey Friday night, September 11th, 11 p.m. Let's see, that's me on the end. The flowing locks, bro. The flowing locks. Headlining the Whiskey. So then we've got tour itinerary. And this is a book. This is a book. And a lot of this I can't show because it has everybody's phone number and email in it, all of that. And, I would never disclose that. But January 2013, the tour starts. There's the first couple of dates, right? And then look at this. This was our tour schedule. This is February of 2013. And look at that, dude. That's like working your butt off. That's like pretty much something every night except a day off here and there. So, it's all I've got all these artifacts, and it's been such a crazy time. So somebody said I look like Fabio. I was fabulously Fabiosity, right? I had the swoop and all that. And when you look like that, you get a lot more attention than when you're older. How much better was Tony Richards on drums for Wasp? I can't really speak on that band because I don't know enough about them. In 2004, did 100 concerts in a year. Yeah, bro, that's a lot. You did in 2024. You've done 100 already. Wow, Pedro. Yeah, it's tough, dude. That's a lot considering we've got a lot of the year left. I mean, we're almost in September soon, right? But man, that's pretty crazy. That is a lot, bro. And I salute you. Great White Singer. Yes. We talked about that, Charles. In fact, somebody gave a nice tip to talk about Jack Russell of Great White. So we did I did as best I could. Pedro is rolling. Yeah, Pedro is rocking and rolling. And man, we salute you. This is more about sipping, this one. It's kind of like you've had that first shot of whiskey and you maybe downed that a little bit too quick. And the second one, you're like, okay, this one's for sipping. Yeah, and Greg Kinn. It's like my video that I talked about. Classic rock is on its way to retirement. Man, one day all we will probably have is the tribute acts. And I've often thought about, should I do a tribute? I saw an ad the other day, and somebody was looking for a Dimebag Darrell. They need a Dimebag Darrell for a Pantera tribute. And I was thinking, man, if they'd have caught me with my long hair and my black beard, just coming off the road with Colt Ford, and I'd saw on that ad, I would have been the guy. I would have been the guy for that because I was in that mode. I was pounding booze and going crazy on guitar, and I had the beard. I had at one point I even put red in the beard, and they've got the actual Pantera, but this was just a local band. Like, I haven't drank a drop of alcohol since 2000 and let's see. 2009. Oh, you took out the sake. Okay, well, thank you, Pedro. I don't want you to overindulge, but I don't tell anybody what to do. Pete Thorne's classic rock band is Keep the Music Alive. Yes, they are a great band. Pete Thorne is great at playing that stuff. And so there are things out there that are, look, when I was a kid, it was the Stray Cats, right? And the Stray Cats kind of kept the 50s rock and roll thing, it kept it out there. And I would say, to a similar degree, Steel Panther kind of kept the 80s rock thing going. Long after grunge and all that, it kind of died down. Steel Panther kind of comes up and shows everybody how fun that decade was. Just like the Stray Cats kind of showed how fun the 50s music was. I mean, dude, seems like the younger crowd loves 70s and 80s classic probably because their music sucks. Brian is a killer guitarist, evolved a lot. Okay. Oddballs were the Talking Heads in our youth. Yeah, they were a unique band. They were a unique band, that's for sure. We are at 90 minutes and we're not stopping. We don't stop. Sex Pistols. Now, dude, I loved punk rock. I'm one of those guys that I like punk rock and I like Van Halen. And you know what's crazy is John Lydon, the singer for the Sex Pistols, man, he was a fan of Van Halen. He liked what they did. You gotta imagine that perhaps John Lydon might have been at one of those shows where Van Halen opened for Black Sabbath. And you got to imagine that he saw Van Halen and thought, man, these guys are doing it. I mean, it's a different bag. But I thought the Sex Pistols album, their Nevermind the Bollocks, I was surprised when I bought that album as a kid. I was surprised at how good it sounded coming off the turntable. The Clash's first album that had a couple okay songs on it, but the sound quality was not anywhere near as good as the way the Sex Pistols album sonically sounded. It sounded better, So I am a guy that likes all of that stuff. Hacking them deep and selling it cheap. Yes, indeed. We're stacking them deep and keeping them on repeat. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're celebrating 5K. Do you have a guitar story about your favorite acts? Well, I don't know that I have a favorite acts. I mean, it's like your kids. If you have multiple kids. Now I've got the Squire debut that I got the other day, and this is a cool guitar, and it's $119, and I just got it the other day, and it's a cool guitar for the money, and it plays decent, and it looks pretty cool, and how can I? This is the redheaded stepchild of the family. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, sir. But I like this guitar as much as I like, say this, Killer Sir that I use on my channel quite a bit. And this is a beautiful guitar. It's got a little ding there, but look at the flame on that neck. Yeah, I've got a pretty good selection of any type guitar so that I can get a lot of different sounds quick. The only thing that I'm not deep in, yes, this thing is roasted, bro. It is roasted harder than the gang hanging out in Spicoli's van, if you know what I'm saying. Sirs and Andersons, yeah, I've got a few of those. Smash that like 5K and on the way to 10K. Yes, indeed, we're on the way to 10K, sir. Check out the punk scene in Lawrence, Kansas in the 80s. I need to check that out. Yeah, John Sir makes, and I've got this. I've got two Sirs. I've got this one, which I haven't really broken in, except I do have that ding there, which I just noticed the other day. But I've got this one, and I've got a candy apple red Sir that when I got off the road, I was playing a candy apple red Strat on the road that was a parts caster that I love. I'd say that's one of the guitars that it would be one of my favorites just because it's literally got my blood on it and carvings and, the neck on those Sirs, are they like Fender C-shapes? What's happening, Mr. Elmore in the house, everybody? Give his channel a view and a subscription. This has got a pretty good size, pretty chunky kind of neck on it. I mean, I'm not one of those, I'm not Phil McKnight. I don't have any calipers and all that kind of stuff. But this thing is pretty, it's pretty dense, It's got a decent chunk to it. It's probably, it's probably pretty similar to a Fender American Pro or something like that. Maybe a little bit thicker than that. And it's got better fretwork. This is stainless steel frets. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Oh, you was in Hollywood last week. So your Hollywood story was really cool. Man, I'm curious, how was it in Hollywood? Did you do anything crazy? Did you wake up? Yeah, I like the bigger necks now too, Mr. Elmore. Now check this out. I've got this. This is just a American vintage telly. And it's just the old, 52. This is like from the original series. Now these have really seriously chunky necks. And you used to be able to get find these on Guitar Center used. There's my tip for you today. If you want to find a deal on like an old American vintage, like one of these 52 tellies or American vintage, the black Strats and whatever, man, these are really stellar guitars. The necks on the McCartney 594 are pretty big too. Yeah, these are baseball bat size necks. And this guitar is not that easy to play. It's got some heft to it. It's got some heft to it, and this is a tough guitar to play. But because it's tough to play, I like to pick this up as something to practice on when I don't have a lot of time, right? So, if I only have a few minutes during the day, if I only have a little bit of time to practice, I'll practice on this. You need different guitars so that your approach is unique on each. Absolutely. And because this is difficult to play, I like to practice on this because it keeps the hands in shape. And so, Mike, I don't know. I don't know castles made of sand. But I tell you what, I do know. There is the chord changes that Eric Gales adds to Little Wing. So he harmonized. And then to E minor. And then Stella by Starlight. I don't know, how about I don't know a lot of jazz tunes by heart. And I don't play a lot of solo jazz guitar. I am the guy that knows the basic, that was Misty, yeah. I know the basic changes. I know the neck, pretty much all over and in any key. And so when I would get to a gig, I would have my iPad with the iReel app. And so all the standard songs I already knew. But we would sometimes, I mean, dude, they would tell you, oh, we need, cocktail music for 45 minutes. I'm thinking, we got 45 minutes. But then all of a sudden, they would be like, oh, more cocktail music, more cocktail music. The food, they're having trouble getting the food out. And you're like, you're an hour in. And all blues, yeah. And then, right, all blues is easy. So, I would have the iReel. And so if somebody calls off a girl from Ipanema, I know it's an F, but man, I can't. I don't know all the changes off the top of my head, but I can follow the chord chart. You just hit 100 minutes. Yes, we did indeed. I don't know all the stuff off the top of my head, but if I follow the chord chart, I can play all the voicings. It's hard to see when I play this stuff, but I can read the chord chart. And then, I can improvise and I can play over the changes because that's what I worked on. That's the one thing that I can do. So, and the cool, yeah, for the people eating, exactly. And so I can play that stuff, played on used charge. Guitar is its own thing. So for me, it's like I'm gonna get asked to play the chords, and then I'm going to be asked to solo. And as long as I can do that, I'm good. And then the rest of the night is just, the rest of the night would be this, Now check that out. I will show you this because I deliberately play this song incorrectly. They're talking about the song, Play That Funky Music, right? Now, that's how you play it. Right? That's how, if you had multiple guitars in the band, one guy, you would play that like that. But when you're the one guitar player in a band, which I 99.99999% am the only guitar player, then I try to cover both parts. So, see, if you play it there, and you hit it like that. You can play both parts and not have to. I guess you could play it like that, but here's the thing. In Nashville, they might play it super up-tempo. They might play it super up-tempo. So that makes a difference in how you're going to play it. So I have kind of, had my way of playing these songs and covering multiple parts because I was always the only guitar player, in the band. And so sometimes playing the song wrong or incorrectly is the best way to do it. Going to give the old people a heart attack playing it that fast. Well, look, Mike, I was always playing, when you're playing in a wedding band, you're always playing for 20-year-olds. Yeah, there will be old people out there, but man, there's something about Nashville that, people would be, the tempos. And I would say you could probably say the Wooten brothers were the progenitors of bringing their East Coast, on the East Coast, jazz is played at, the bop is played at breakneck speeds. And on the West Coast, they have the West Coast sound, which is different feel. The frenetic lifestyle of a New Yorker, and being that on top of, hey, what are you doing? Get out of the way over there. The whole thing, the kicking the door down New York attitude is in that music. And so being in Virginia and growing up with the Wooten brothers, who had spent time in New York, and a lot of my friends, went on to be big time New York, jazz players and stuff like that. Those guys, and we all, kind of gravitated to an East Coast. Hey, we're East Coast guys. We're on the East Coast of the United States with, Virginia Beach and all that. It's right along that coastline with Jersey and all that. So even though Virginia is in the South, we considered our playing style East Coast. And so when the Wooten brothers moved to Nashville, they brought their East Coast feel and that frenetic kind of pace. And so, those guys started, playing on the scene and playing a lot of those songs fast. I mean, dude, they would play some of that stuff super, hot weather, slower tempos. In the East Coast, you got to play faster to keep warm. But they would play a lot of those songs like super fast. And there was one time where I had to fill in for Reggie Wooten down at 3rd and Lindsley for the Wooten brother Wednesday night thing. And I would fill in on guitar when they were out of town. And the band started off just playing everything at breakneck speed. And I said, hey guys, I was just filling in. I hadn't been doing what they've been doing every week. I said, hey guys, Reggie's not here tonight. We don't have to play everything that fast, So that's a good HC bands. So anyway, that's why, we would play things like a song like Brick House. Dude, they would play that song pretty fast. It's a slow groove on the record, but man, they went boom, boom, dip, boom, 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 beat it, boom, boom, beat it, almost like, an up-tempo version of Sex Machine by James Brown. It would be played like that. And so you had to keep it. And the thing is, those songs have been so played. They're played so much that injecting it with that energy would get people to hear it in a different way and made them get out of their seats, and you'd have them dancing. And so that was something. It's an art to mess with tempos. It is, Pedro. Sometimes you need it a little slower, and sometimes you need it a little faster to just get them off their seat, man. Wow, Earl. First concert was Sly and the Family Stone. Well, if Joe Wooten was watching this video right now, he would salute you. That is incredible, Earl. All right, we've got 54 people in here and we got 60 likes. I want everybody to subscribe. We're at 5K, on the way to 10K. We're rocking and rolling. Sometimes you just want to burn. Man, I tell you what, and dude, we would be burning. We would be burning and playing, look, off the band practice, Mr. Elmore, thank you for popping in. Just wanted to hop in and say congrats. Thank you, sir. You keep crushing as well. Thank you for dropping in. And everybody go check out his channel as well. Keeping that tempo and being able to play. Look, I tell you what, one of the hardest things, you can only hit like once. You are correct. One of the toughest things to do is switch gears. And yes, that would be awesome, Mr. Elmore. One of the toughest things to do is like go from, to go from a funk rhythm, a tight funk rhythm that you're keeping going for 3 or 4 minutes, and all of a sudden the band leader goes, guitar. That is one of the hardest things. That is like a hard gear shift. That is one of the hardest things to do, is go from that breakneck but tight. It's so hard to go from that to, it's like, man, if you don't start ripping out the gate, all that chunk guitar that you're putting in there, it drops out, and it's almost like the bottom drops out, and you almost have to just keep flying. You almost have to just start kind of shredding out of the gate, and it's not really a situation where you can kind of build a solo. You almost have to just start breaststroke and doggy paddle as fast as you can, because that's the only real way to keep it going at that point. You can't just play. Great to be here with all you Badbrad. Thank you, Earl. This is a awesome hang of really cool people, man. We're building like this universal group you can only hit like once, even if you watch several times. I know, ain't that a damn shame, Pedro? I think we should all get to vote 10 or 12 times, if you know what I'm saying, sir. Yes, indeed, sir. To hear your stories and being real here. Thank you, Charles. We're having a good time. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, bummer. So, it's a lot of reflection here. 5K day on our way to 10K. And when we hit 10K, we're going to have a really big celebration. But when we hit 100K, we're going to have a giveaway or something. We're going to have to, make it, maybe that little Squire debut. Maybe I'll put together like a Badbrad package prize. And maybe it'll be like Squire debut, a couple of, CDs from the archives, some Badbrad picks, which I don't have one right now. Let me see. Let me see what I got here. So I got my old Colt Ford guitar picks, and that's what was on the other side, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Colt Ford. Now you can go on eBay. You go on eBay, and there were people selling those. I think they were trying to get like $30 or something for those, because obviously Colt Ford was the artist. Don't drink and drive when you can smoke and fly. What's the goal or plan for YouTube and Badbrad moving forward? Well, Tim, sir, if I was to tell you my plans, sir, I'd I can't tell you my battle plans, my sir. I can't tell you that, sir. If I tell you, well, I have to kill myself. No, just joking. But no, I can't tell what's in the future, sir. I cannot tell you. Forlorn Bradhorn, yes indeed. Forlorn. You made it when you have a custom pick. Dude, I used to throw those picks. Yes, Foghorn Bradhorn. There literally are hundreds of those picks out there. And I would go through bags and bags of them, because the material, a lot of the stuff that I was playing on the road would be, it would be a lot of power chords and a lot of diamonds, bling, bling. There'd be a lot of that. And so I got really good at my pick tricks. I was able to throw picks up, catch them, like hit a chord, throw the pick up, catch the pick, hit the next chord. It's just things that kept me entertained on. Say, Ace, thank you so much. I will keep it coming. Let's celebrate Ace right now. Thank you, sir. I'm trying to hit the likes on everything. I'm so new with this channel. It's hard to keep it up sometimes, sir. Yes, indeed, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you. But yeah, that's why these people get these picks. And then they put them on eBay and try to get big bucks, and they get collections of them. And so there's somebody trying to get 30, and I'm like thinking, dude, if he could get that for it, I've got bags and bags of Badbrad picks. I've got different ones. So let's see what we got in here. We've got, here is a Badbrad skeleton pick with the Jolly Roger. Let's see what else is in here. Here's another Jolly Roger. I'll tell you what, Mike, the best pick trick that I can do is, and I started doing this when I was playing down at this little club in Nashville. And I started throwing the picks up and doing this whole, thing. And I think I probably got it off of watching Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick back in the day. But I thought it one night, I'll throw the pick up, I'm gonna catch it in my mouth, and then hit the next chord on the guitar with my teeth with the pick, right? So I did it. And I think I might have even did it. Like, I was just thinking of the trick at the time, and I just did it. And it's one of those things, like when you throw a basketball, you shoot a basketball, and when it leaves your hand, nothing but net. And you call it, go, nothing but net. And you drain it. It's the same thing when I would throw that pick up, and I'd know, like, this is the perfect pick in the air, and I'm gonna catch this in my mouth. And I would catch the pick, and the pick would land right there, and then I'd pick up the guitar and go, and just strum the next chord, And people would see that and like, dude, it'd be one of those things, like, not everybody would see it, but can you cut it? Yeah, probably. Guitars in the picks. I have all sorts of materials. Each has a different sound. That's the real thing, is just the different sounds. Now here's one I did for, it's an metal album I did called Into the Ether. And that's the pick for that. Here is the Eric Blue album, Midnight Glow, and we did a pick for that, right? So I've got all these different picks, and they are a different sound. And I think these are, like, I don't know what material this is, but this material, and these picks are more expensive, but this sounds better than just the plain old Tortex. Now, I like the Tortex picks, this style here. Can't show that one. These are good too. These are good. I like a heavier pick. For me, that is, it works better for my style of playing. I have an old Ultra Plec that I keep preciously unique feel and sound. My problem is I wear the picks down. Someone had to do a Heimlich maneuver on you if you had missed that pick. Yeah, I've thought about that, Charles. I've thought about that. Tortex, the pick that never breaks. My problem is I wear the tips down of the picks. If I'm playing it a lot, like, I will, if I got to go do something now, I don't know if you could see that, but that thing's worn down. It is worn down. And this one, like, if it doesn't have a good tip on it, I won't use it. And even this heavy duty one, see how the tip is like rounded? I like it to have a sharp point. But see how much wear is on that. Like, these would be, now this is kind of like the Fender heavy, and these don't last long. So this is why this pick is not really that used. But like, these are heavier like picks, and this one is, once I wear them down like that, they're just they're like this one. This one is really, it's just a nub. So picks are really important to tone. It really does make a difference. And I've heard some of the top producers, like Michael Wagner, who produced all those classic, amazing guitar players, he likes to hear the pick. He likes to hear the sound of the pick in the guitar tone. Often use Dugain ergonomic picks. I have not tried those. But man, when I was on the road and how I got these Colt Ford picks, and I still got bags of them, and I think my old roadie, he got the rest of them when I left. But this is Tortex and Dunlop. Dunlop would give these to us for free. So I would get different things. I've got different ones. I don't think in this particular, oh, this is cool. Let's see if I can pull this out. So a guy that had seen me on the road took this picture from the internet of my main road guitar, and he put it on a Vegas style chip and gave me this chip, and it says Badbrad on it, and that's my old Strat. It's this picture I took on the road. There was this pile of mud, next to the tour bus, and I got our photographer that was traveling with us, and I laid my destroyed red parts caster, and I laid it in that pile of mud, and I said, dude, get me a picture of my guitar. Like, just give me a killer picture of my guitar. So that picture I've used, a lot in the past, and it's just things you remember of the past. Now, we have been on for 2 hours. We got 50 people in here. Should we keep going, or should we, call it a day? You guys tell me what you want to do. Does anybody have anything that they want to talk about? We're talking music. We're talking guitars. We're having a good time. We're having a little of the Red Bull, bro. Picks make a huge difference. Polished stone pick. I think those are cool. Here's the thing. Here's the balance in a pick, and why I wouldn't personally use a stone pick. Keep going. I have until 5. Woo! Woo! We're gonna continue. That's my pops, y'all. Y'all say hello to Brad Henderson, my pops. We're gonna go Rick James style. Woo! Woo! We're at 5K, sir. Snap into a Slim Jim. So pick makes a big difference in the sound. And the reason why I would not use a that's a good one, Charles, sir. A gentleman never tells his tale, sir. A gentleman never tells that tale, sir. Is a stone pick would be rigid all the time. And the thing is, playing funk rhythm guitar, which I had to play a lot, just, on the gigs that I was doing. But then also needing a firm pick to shred. There's a fine line between the pick being too firm and not being firm enough. So a stone pick wouldn't have any give, and it would tear up my strings. I'd break a lot of strings, and it'd be hard to play the funk like grooves. But man, if you're not playing, funk rhythm guitar, then yeah, that stone pick would be cool, and it'd certainly be something I would keep on my desk if I had one, and I would use it when I needed to do single note type stuff, just like a quarter. A quarter has a unique sound to it, and I might pull one of those out to get some of that articulation. But, it makes a big difference of the sound. So we've talked about picks now. What else y'all want to rap about here tonight? I'm going to have a little sip of the water, sir. I'm going to have a little sip. You got to hydrate. Gators in the pool. Use everything you can, everything that works better for you. Absolutely. That's why I got that little, I've got these different little things of picks, and I will pull out. How many hours did you practice as a kid? Robert, thank you for that question. Okay, so there were times where I would practice 6 hours, 7 hours. When I was going to GIT, I'd go to class and I'd learn what I could, and then I'd go practice, all day, every day. I think it's important to have a period in your life where you're doing that. It's not easy to do. Just like it's not easy to talk, for 2 hours straight. It's not easy to stay focused. but you have to break it up. If you watched my video talking about Get the Gig, it's titled Get the Gig. And I talk about how, learning somebody's material and memorize, leap in your youth practice. Yeah. When you're in your youth, you got to practice because you got the energy to do it. I don't have the time or energy to practice for long periods of time. So what I'm doing now is just trying to maintain the strength in the hands and maintain the mental capacity to create parts and do all that. But, everybody's got to go through a period of a lot of practice. I think that's important. I think it's good to have that, and do. Oh, Charles, thank you so much. Did you lose your virginity on the road or high school? Okay, so now I have to answer this, right? It would not be on the road because I was not going on the road that young. So man with hole in pocket feels cocky all day, all that long. Okay. I was not on the road at a young age. I was a typical kid going to high school. And let's just say I went to prom one year. If you know what I'm saying, sir, I went to prom. And you can divulge that information and take it any way you want, sir. That's all I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna give you details except Eyes Without a Face was on the radio. That's Eyes Without a Face. You know that song, Eyes Without a Face? I can remember hearing Billy Idol off in the distance. Eyes without a face, right? So anyway, thank you, sir, for the donation. And that is a certain way to be guaranteed an answer to the most pressing questions, my sir, my sir. Yes, sir, my sir. I appreciate you, sir. We're rocking and rolling. We've had an incredible day celebrating 5K. You guys have helped fund this channel and helped fund me getting up at Steve Stevens. Man, now dude, Pedro, thanks for saying that, because it takes you guys saying these things. He says Steve Stevens rocks. He still rocks. Yes, Billy Idol and Steve Stevens on Rebel Yell, I would say, is as much of an influence on me as Van Halen 1. I listened to that Rebel Yell cassette in my little B2000 Mazda truck. I listened to that over and over again, and the guitar playing on that, while not virtuosic, it is the perfect guitar playing for each one of those songs. And man, the tones and stuff that he does, and the little ray gun thing. Rebel Yell at Hoover Dam is pretty cool. Yes, indeed, Mike. Those guys are still doing it. And we went to Vegas before my wife was pregnant with Mia. We went out to Vegas to see Billy Idol. And I finally got to see Billy Idol play in the House of, was it the House of Blues it was in the hotel where they had that big Vegas, the guy with the thing and aiming at the country music festival. And I'll tell you, I'll have to tell that story, how I stayed in that and all that. That's a whole, keep going, Citizen G-Man. Thank you. Off like a prom dress, sir. Well, sir, I can't comment on gentlemen never kisses and tells, sir. What are you listening to these days? Well, I'm mostly listening to you guys and trying to figure out what kind of content you guys want. But, okay, so there is a song called The Spark. And the other day, me and my daughter are sitting in front of the TV, and I'm trying to entertain her, and we're watching these dog videos in the shorts on YouTube. And there's this song, Think What You Know, and it's got this up-tempo tune and this house music groove and these little kids like rapping over it. And my daughter just goes nuts and starts bouncing around the room and dancing around. And so that's sticking in my head. But I tell you what, an old rock song by a band called Thunder. Thunder, somebody asked before about a less known. Yeah, better than it is better than Baby Shark, Mike. But there's a song by Thunder called "Dirty Love." And it is a rock and roll. I mean, it is a throwback kind of hairband-ish kind of song, but the singer's got this really soulful voice, almost like a Paul Rogers type thing. And that is a well-crafted song. And I did a little research after I heard it. I said, man, this is a well-written song. There's no excess in the song. The bridge goes right from like, the last chorus right into the bridge. They don't even allow you to like lose interest. Yeah, that's another good one there, Mike. Yeah, but Dirty Love by Thunder. If you haven't heard that, crank that song up. The singer sings his butt off. They're a band that had a big hit in the U.S. with that song, but didn't really do a whole lot in the U.S. You just watched them, Pedro. What did you think of Stanley? What did you think? I'm curious. If everybody watched the video I put out this morning, Tank, yes, Tank. And the way he's moving around. Now, it's a band that didn't translate on the record as good as it was live. Thunder from the UK, superb band. Yes, so B knows who I'm talking about. Whoa, yeah, that's Stanley. It didn't translate to the record and the videos as. Check out "School Is for Fools" by Life, Sex, and Death. Check that one out, Pedro. See if you like that one. It's got like a Cheap Trick vibe to it with Stanley on top. Teach what to do with your hands to singers. He did kind of troll everybody. I tell you what, that when and the guy, the singer for the Struts, you see that poster back there? That's from a show we went to at the basement. We saw the Struts, and that is a singer that is excellent with his hands. He creates this movement. A lot of guys don't know what to do. Look, without an instrument, I would feel kind of naked on stage. Imagine having to just walk out there and you've got to command attention. And it is not an easy thing. And if you see the early footage of LSD before he adopted that Stanley act, his singing is average but great performance. Yeah, the songwriter. Yeah, you're right, Azur. I think the live show was incredible, and that's what got him signed. But I think it wasn't fully developed. I think if they hadn't have gotten signed so quick, and they'd have kept writing, maybe they would have had more a stockpile of songs. Now, those songs that they put out on that album, they totally worked live. But, trying to capture, look, there's a lot of guitar players that were famous guitar players, but the recordings never really captured the full, how good some of those players were. Just like old bootlegs of Eddie Van Halen playing Eruption before the first album. There's some old bootlegs, and his playing is just insane. Same with Yngwie. There's some bootlegs of live recordings, and dude, those guys sound like these sped up guys that are speeding their guitars up now. They sound sped up because they're hitting like this hypersonic speed and frenetic energy, not because somebody hit increase the speed by 25%. So LA churning out Dream of Glory. Well, they did churn that out for a while. All right. I'm starting to get a little bit raspy. It's like I'm doing 4 sets again, right? And so what I would do on the road, if your little girl ever showed interest in the music business, would you encourage or discourage her from pursuing it? Well, I encourage her. Just back, had the puppy for a quick short. Okay. I would encourage my daughter to pursue anything that her heart was in it. I think it's tough. I know how tough the music business is, but my wife knows how tough it is, and she knows what I've had to do. Um, so it's a tough thing, but I would make sure she has the tools to make a living no matter what. So it's the same, advice that I would give anybody that asked about their child. And that's why I did that video, having made that phone call, talked to that mom and that dad. And I hope I didn't completely scare them away. But you know how I am with this channel. I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna tell you. I think you took the homeless thing too far. Yeah, I think Stanley did. But it was amazing to see it. And I think, labels, they were pretty savvy, and they know when a band is just thrown together, and they will suss out if they think a band is faking it. They're not going to sink their $500,000 or their $1 million budget into a band that they think is going to implode immediately, and or just they're going through the motions. So I think when this guy obviously decided to create this character of Stanley and do this thing and get them a record deal very quickly, I think it's just one of those things. Often live does not translate to studio, and that was ultimately the problem. There is a point where you can carry your character too far. And what do I have my video about remove your cape. And when you create a character like Stanley, everybody expects to see Stanley. They don't expect to see Chris Stan or whatever his name was off the stage. And so he created a persona that he had to become, and he couldn't take off the cape. So I don't think it was really designed to be a long time thing. Remove your cape needs to be a song. Well, it absolutely could be. Studio is not natural for a live musician. It's not. And it's very hard. You got to say Van Halen and Van Halen 1, that album, they captured their live thing. Man, it was in some ways better than their live thing. And you got to give Ted Templeman and Don Landy, you got to give those guys the credit for really capturing Van Halen and figuring out how to make it sound. So that is an example of a studio album that has a live feel to it, but uses the studio. And then Ed made his own studio, and then made recordings that didn't sound live. Yeah. Well, that's what we do. I think he wanted to make things better, but really the first album, when I didn't start buying albums, I only bought live albums. Yeah, there was a time where I preferred live albums. This is not a popular opinion, and I've got a video coming out soon about my attempt to jam with the Rolling Stones. Yes, I tried to take my guitar down to the hotel where the Stones were going, and I tried to go jam with the Stones. But, I think the best Stones live album to my ears is Love You Live. And no one probably agrees with me on that. But that is a raw sounding album with good sound. And they sound rough and ready on that record. All right. It's been 138 minutes. Pat Travers' band sounded better live. That's another one. They never captured that live album. Will you be doing interviews on your channel in the future? We'd love to listen to you talk shop with some of your friends. Earl, I'm hoping to do that. But I've been so busy staying on this path that I'm on that I haven't reached out. Always rehearsed in order to record anything live, even in the studio. I also, Earl, I want to have something to bring to the table, to say to my friends, hey man, you've been my friend for a long time, and I want to help you out now, and bring them on when my channel's, So yeah, I'm going to still do it. Nico McBrain from Iron played drums for Pat Travers. Yes, he did. But man, You talk about, what was it called? Go For What You Know. Is that the name of that Pat Travers album? Talk about a killer live album. Bass playing, for my bass playing friends out there, the bass playing of Mars Cowling on that live Pat Travers album with Tommy Aldridge on drums. Dude, go listen to Boom Boom, Out Go the Lights, and listen to the bass line. Dude, Mars Cowling is tearing it up. He is a bad, bad dude. Live, Go For What You Know. Best live album. That is a killer live album. Probably more musicians than an A&R producer. Yeah. We're at 140 minutes. We're having a good time. We're making a few rhymes. Collecting a few dimes, and we're celebrating 5K subs. Yes, indeed. How about Gary Moore live in Paris? Now, Mike, I haven't listened to that album, and I probably need to. I have a friend, and when I went to Berkeley for about a month in the summer of, I think it was 83, Bob Firestone. Now, he was listening to Gary Moore like religiously, right? And he was playing one of these Gary Moore solos, and I'm like, dude, it was ripping. And so I was like, oh, wow, this dude can play. And I always loved Gary Moore's playing in Thin Lizzy. He was, if he'd have stayed with that band, maybe he could have helped them catapult a little bit more. But I think there was probably a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with Thin Lizzy that Gary Moore was probably like, I don't want to, I need to get off this ship. We are flawed. We are beautiful mistakes, Pedro. We are wabi-sabi. It is the beauty of imperfection, the perfection of imperfection. That is what makes live music great. And man, some of my favorite guitar tones are, enjoyed the show. Great to be here with all of you. To be continued. Yes. Are you heading out, Earl? Saw them on tour for Raunch and Roll album. We are here and present. Yes, indeed, sir. Yes, indeed. I've always loved Rush live. Neil is so good to watch and listen to live. Absolutely, Tim. They are incredible. I wasn't like a huge Rush fan. But they are one of the most incredible bands of all time. I had a lot of friends, a lot of my high school buddies that were huge Rush fans, and Neil Peart is one of the greatest drummers of all time. So, and man, they ain't been nobody like them since. There is nobody out there that can create, songs, iconic songs like that with incredible drumming and incredible playing in it. And I wish there would be some bands. Show of Hands is amazing and the best sounding live album. I can't really comment on Rush because for me it's the radio songs, an undeniable, spirit of radio. And of course I had to play YYZ as a kid because I'd always play with drummers that wanted to play Rush songs. So we go right? Did I get that right, Tim? I think I was right. I think that's the rhythm anyway. But Rush, man, it's just incredible. Caress of Steel, The Necromancer. Yeah, I'm not as big on that stuff. I had my things that I liked. That wrote them in Morse code for YYZ. Yes, it is. It's Morse code for Canada or something, isn't it? YYZ. Yes, indeed. That's the airport that they were going from. So I don't know, man. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. The wife is I sub in a Rush tribute. Very difficult. Yeah. That's about all I know of that. And the run was, I don't remember all that, but I don't remember all the lines. I haven't played that song since first year in college. I had to play it with another drummer at school then. I haven't played it since then. First time I heard a Rush song, I thought it was at least 5 members. Yeah, I tell you what, and you wouldn't think this, but Keith Urban, when he first came to Nashville, he had a band called The Ranch. It was him, a bass player, and a drummer. And somebody, and you wouldn't think this, but somebody played me The Ranch, played me their recording, and I heard it, and I'm like, holy crap, these guys sound like a record. Yeah, this is just a board mix. I'm like, holy, these guys sound good. They sounded like a friggin' record, dude. So, kudos to anybody that can take a 3-piece band and you don't miss anything. That is a tough thing to do, man. And even, in Hendrix style, with all the improvisation and all that, when the Jimi Hendrix Experience was firing on all cylinders, man, it's tough to beat. It's tough to beat, Different thing than Rush, obviously, but Cream in their days in the 60s, incredible band. Keith is a ringer, so is Brad Paisley. Yeah, those guys were ringers, but nobody knew he was a ringer. And the funny story is, Jerry Flowers, who plays in Keith Urban's band, he was playing in this band that I used to play at 3rd and Lindsley with, this place where the Guthrie Trap concert was the other night. And Jerry Flowers was playing with us, and this is before anybody knew who Keith Urban was. And Keith Urban was sitting on my side of the stage, just sitting in a chair, watching me play this gig. And, and Jerry Flowers is there. And I think I went up to him and said hi to him or whatever, but I didn't say, hey, man, come up and play. And I probably should have. But I knew how good that guy was. And I knew if I'd handed him the guitar, I might not have had my guitar slot the next week. So Keith just sat there and watched. And I played my funk gig. 2 guitars is the magic sauce. It is for a lot of bands. I like playing in a band with 1 guitar, and I like filling that space because I'm ADD. So I like to play rhythm, and I like to throw in little rhythmic lead ideas between the phrases, between the chords, and listen to everybody in the band, have a keyboard player, and play that way. So that's kind of what I like to do. Ringer, being fake, pretending. No, I don't think Keith Urban, man, the dude can play, and so can Brad Paisley. Those guys can both. I'm a little rough right now, a little rusty on my jazz blues right there. Right? You can make it ring, not fake. Yeah. So we are at 1 hour and 48 minutes. We got 60 people in there. I mean, how can I quit? Thank you, everybody. I used to be a ringer, but now I'm just a part-time singer, sir. Just a part-time singer. Ringer slang, a racehorse athlete or the like entered in competition under false as to identify our ability. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. I've had some ringers in bands. I've had some nights where we bring in, the big guns, and people don't know. Incredible jazz guitar, Wes Montgomery. Wes Montgomery is one of the all-time greats. I love having ringers on stage, though. Yeah, that's the slang definition. I love having guys that are just monsters and nobody even knows. Sometimes we would do these corporate gigs and you'd call, who's available, and maybe get some guy that's, this incredible player like a Jeff Coffin or, one of these type guys, or and you're like, these people don't even know that this band is full of guys that have played with some of the biggest names in the music business, and you're just playing the Wilson's Wedding, Blast from the Past on YouTube, Deep Purple, Made in Japan. Yeah, that is a great live album. That is a great live album, Made in Japan. That is absolutely one of the all-time greats. Trying to look for a pick here. I got my little case here. These are all worn to the nub. Let's see if we can find anything else in here. Let's see that we find something with a tip. And I think I've got an Eddie Van Halen pick in this case. I think it's one my buddy Eddie Knowles gave me that he said is it was actually Eddie's pick that he got from the road crew or something like that. Let me see if I can find that. What is this? That's a Fender Heavy. I don't know. Where is that pick? It gets hard to keep up with all this stuff as you get older in life. Just the tip, bro. All I need is the tip of the pick. Taylor Swift capo. Do they have a Taylor Swift capo? So I had a guy, I did a video called Shredding on the Blues, right? And, start off the first part of the solo. Right? I started the solo off like that. But then on the second, chorus, I started... I started playing jazz, over the changes. Then to the 4-chord. Yeah. Right, I started doing all that, but double time. And I had a couple jazz blues players say, "You're disrespecting the blues and you're doing this." And I was like, dude, blues and jazz are hand in hand. And when you're playing in a jazz band, a third of what you're going to play are blues tunes, and you're going to play that way. And playing double time jazz over a blues song is just the natural evolution that you're going to have instead of playing. Yeah, it is. It's blues is just simplified jazz, but a third of the songs. Alicia, how you doing? Everybody, Alicia is the wife of Michael Fair, who is the guy who gave me my first gig in Nashville, or Jazz is Complicated Blues. Yeah, it's just evolution. It's just, ways to jazz is blues with chord extensions. It absolutely is. So, right. 6, 2, 5. Then 6, 2, 5, 1. Right? That's just basic, jazz changes, but that's blues, man. It's all it is. So we are at 153 minutes, minor 7 flat 5. Yeah. There's a minor 7 flat 5. So a minor 2-5 would be D minor 7 flat 5, G7 sharp 5, and then C minor 7. You know what I'm saying? So I know my basics of playing that stuff and can play over it, and that's more than most of the guys that played the heavy metal gigs and Sunset Strip type guys. Most of those guys didn't bother learning that stuff. But being able to play that stuff has just meant that I could keep working as the decades went, because, man, road gigs end. And what do? Mark Knopfler is a great player. Absolutely. You need to be able to play a little bit of everything. Because, man, what happens if you only play one style and then somebody calls Rocky Top? You know, thank you, Azure. Thank you. I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time working on that stuff, and I like playing over it. It's a challenge, you know. Knopfler was a big influence in my beginning. Right on, Pedro. All right, we got 59 people in here. I've been on for 155 minutes. Yeah, the bass man will have to keep up. Yeah, he'd be going boom, 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 boom. Do you own an ES335 or other hollow body? I used to own a couple of them. Earl, but I don't own any right now because I thinned out the herd and I just wasn't using them on gigs. I didn't use my 335s that much. So I've got, we going for 300? I don't know, Mike. I don't know if I can do that. Let me see. Let me go get a lozenge. I need to get a lozenge, bro. So we're back. We're headed back into the kitchen, the Dijon, the kitchen. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to make an omelet. I'm going to show you how I make my omelets. So the first thing you want to do, if you're going to make an omelet, welcome to my kitchen. This is Badbrad's cooking episode 201. Now, the first thing you're gonna need a hot pan, bro. Cooking the blues. All right. If I was on stage, if I was singing, I was doing a gig, I'd have a lozenge. So you gotta keep the voice hydrated. Very important. I don't think we're gonna be able to go for 300 minutes. Cooking with Badbrad, a new YouTube channel. I'm going to do an episode. Now I got this nice kitchen. I'm going to do an episode called Cooking on a Budget. Cooking on a Blues Budget. And I'm going to do an episode where I show you how to prepare the kind of food you're going to be eating if you decide to make a career in music. What do you think? I'll cook the hand sandwich. I like it a lot, Jimmy. I like it a lot. Yes, indeed. What time is it, by the way? Side dishes are main courses now. As you get older, yeah. Ramen. Top ramen with tuna. That's what I used to have. I'm in near Tampa, shredding in the kitchen, bro. Reading about Cuba, having a little food, reading about Cuba. Well, we'll go back to the kitchen. We'll go shredding in the kitchen, bro. I really should. I'm gonna have to do a cooking episode. It's gonna be cooking with Badbrad, and we're gonna do a little shredding in the kitchen. Right? Right? Shredding in the kitchen, bro. Chicken pick. Right? That's what I'll do. This is what I used to do when I was going to GIT. I'd have my guitar on, right? And I'd be going, right? I'd be doing this, and the other hand would be cooking some ramen, you know, and the whole time I'd be doing this, chicken picking omelet. Yeah, we're gonna have a cooking show. it's going to have to happen, right? It's going to be cooking with the Badbrad. Yes, indeed. Now, I know that some of my Caucasian brethrens out there, some of them are a little spice challenged. But on my channel, we heat it up, baby. I be using the spices. I be making a delectable treat to satisfy the most discerning palate. Yes, indeed. We satisfy the most discerning palates by seasoning our food. I'm not afraid of a little spice. I'm not afraid of a little heat. I'm not afraid of making it tasty. There's tasty guitar solos, my friend. And if you want to have a tasty guitar solo, you got to put a little spice in it. Spice is nice, hot chicken Nashville style. Let me tell you something. Before, hot chicken became a Nashville, kind of a thing, we was cracking open our own hot sauce bottle. You get that fried chicken, and you just go, you douse it, douse that thing, right? But seasoning is very important. Some people's palates, some people, the way they grow up and their family are raised, black pepper is the top of the spice. But I was kind of raised a little bit different, and I used to eat a lot of soul food as a kid. So maybe that's why when I was back in the day, and being at my mom's, we had a restaurant when I was a kid. And, the cooks, they knew my mom worked all day. So my mom didn't have time to make dinner. So they would come in and they go, we brought you some ribs and some collard greens. And and my mom, oh, that's wonderful, right? And so we would have we'd have one of those white, with the flowers on the side, I forget what that was called. It wasn't like a crock pot, but it was like those little Betty Crocker like things. And it would be greens just packed. I mean, they would pack those greens in there, and there'd be chunks of ham and chunks of bacon in there. Favorware, that's it. And then the best ribs you ever had in your life. And that casserole dish, it would be a casserole dish of ribs and collard greens. And man, nobody made collard greens. Nobody has ever made collard greens like my old friend, Mary Shackelford. Now, let me tell you something. Mary was old school cook back in the day. And back in the day, she'd have a Miller High Life, on the chef's table. And she'd, crack open the Miller High Life. And I would call downstairs into the restaurant. And I'd tell my mom, I said, I'd be a little kid. I'd be like 6 or 7 years old. And I'd say, Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have some lunch? And she'd say, we're really busy right now, dear. I can't, we can't do it right now. So around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Mary would say, has that boy had anything to eat? And my mom said, oh, no, we've been so busy. And Mary would make me something to eat. And she'd come down to the bottom of the stairs and she'd say, Brad, I got you something to eat. So Mary would make sure that I had lunch. And sometimes it would be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But man, she was the nicest lady you ever knew. And she loved it when I would come in, and I'd come in that kitchen, and she'd say, play something with some blues, play something with some soul to it. So I would do my best as a little kid, that I would do that. And I would be in that kitchen. If the dishwasher didn't show up, I'd be 7 or 8 years old. I've been there watching hundreds of dishes. And that AM radio would be blasting in that kitchen, cranking out the James Brown. And that's where I probably heard that stuff. And Azur is rocking. So that's kind of where my soul and funk thing kind of came from, and where I grew up hearing that, and hearing those rhythm guitars, and hearing that 70s phaser, phase shifter, and all those kind of James Brown style grooves. That's where it all came from. All right. I think I've worn out the voice. I think we've had an amazing day. We've done 164 minutes, going on 165. I want to thank everybody for this 5K celebration. It's been amazing. We're on our way to 10K. And I want to thank everybody that pitched in today, helped this channel keep going. This has been, what are you going to do till 5? Mike, I say you crank up thunder, dirty love, and let it ride to 5. Thank you so much, Azur. Thank you, everybody, for the, might not seem like, but I grew up in a very rhythmic. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, X5 podcast. Be sure to check out the Corey Feldman episode on X5. Take care, Pedro. Have a good gig, brother. I appreciate you. You guys have been awesome today. This has been an incredible celebration, and I salute every single one of you. Yes, I will stay away from the Gators. I will indeed. Thank you so much. Yeah, beef ribs in the fridge. Right on, Lowdown. Lowdown's going to play some James Brown grooves tonight. You can't eat a funky meal like that, sir, without dropping it on the one. You got to put it on the one, Lowdown. You know what James Brown would say to Bootsy Collins? Keep him in line. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you so much. He would say to him, "You didn't have it tonight, Bootsy. You just didn't have it. Wasn't on the one. Wasn't on the one. You just didn't have it. Didn't have it, Bootsy." So I want everybody out there to keep it on the one and make it extra funky for me. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Keep your eyes out. I got the one. You got to put it on the one, Lowdown. You got to drop it on the one. If you don't put it on the one, ain't no fun. Thank you, guys. It got to be funky. I'll see y'all soon. Take care.